RaceRoom's big summer update is just around the corner, so what are the highlights? The DTM 2026 pack with 4 new GT3s, a completely new HUD and the reworked Nordschleife. The update drops next Tuesday on August 4, but we already had the chance to try out the changes and the new DTM cars, so let's take a look at how they drive and what kind of noises they make. And with that, welcome back to Overtake. I'm Michel and RaceRoom has been with me ever since I got deeper into the sim racing scene, so for 13 years now. Naturally, a lot of content has piled up in that time. The sim now has over 250 cars and 60 tracks. Last year in particular brought some updates. The Super Touras and the major graphics overhaul both turned a lot of heads. Right now, RaceRoom has a stable community. Around 900 daily players on Steam. The community is very loyal and RaceRoom offers good esports. The DTM championship that's running at the moment, for example. In the scene it's basically considered a hidden gem and I'd call it underrated too. Speaking of DTM, that brings us straight to our first topic. RaceRoom is bringing 4 new GT3 cars. The Mustang GT3, the Aston Martin Vantage GT3, that's the first Aston in RaceRoom ever as far as I can tell. The Lamborghini Temerario GT3, a first in any sim, and the new Evo version of the Porsche 911 GT3 R. BMW, McLaren and the AMG GT3 are of course part of the 2026 DTM as well, and they're included in the package with their liveries. So we're looking at 7 cars and 19 liveries if I counted correctly. DTM fans will have noticed straight away that one car is missing. The 2 Ferrari 296 GT3s from Emily Frey Racing sadly aren't included, the license ran out, which means the DTM experience isn't quite 100% complete. All 8 tracks of the current DTM season are already in RaceRoom. If you don't own them yet, it probably makes sense to grab the DTM Esports pack. It's 89% discounted for that package and all the tracks are in there. Standalone price for the DTM 2026 pack, that means all 7 cars, will be €29.99. It seems like you will receive a slight discount if you own the 3 old cars, BMW, McLaren and Mercedes as well. Another reason to get the DTM Esports pack, because that also includes them, I think. I hope this is not too confusing. Let's start with my impressions of the Ford Mustang GT3. This car is definitely a crowd favorite, and a big part of that is the sound of that 5.4-liter unit. Haupt Racing team has developed the car continuously and made it genuinely competitive by now. Ayun Maini is sitting in 6th place in the driver's standings after all. So how well did the developers at KW Studios capture the Mustang sound? Let's listen in for a few seconds. What do you think? Yeah, sound is always very subjective. If you listen to real-world recordings, it's not far off, but the downshifts could be a bit crisper and they're missing some of the punch of the real thing. The slight digital note remains, and inside the cockpit the sound is a little too bright for my taste. One issue that has unfortunately always followed RaceRoom around is the car's dash screens, which are generic rather than modeled on the real thing. Pretty much every other sim does this now, and in my opinion it's something RaceRoom should tackle soon. It's just as much of a long-running topic as the missing rain on night races, and it's an area where RaceRoom is falling behind a bit. The Mustang itself drives the way you'd basically expect. A long bonnet and a V8 up front make it forgiving, but slightly ponderous car that, with the right setup, doesn't hold any big surprises and is very stable under braking. The Aston Martin Vantage GT3 goes in a similar direction. Nicky Team is fighting for the championship in this car right now and won both races at the Nürburgring this year. In sim racing, the Aston is pretty much always a good choice. It's considered an all-rounder and it's a go-to for GT3 newcomers. The 4-liter V8, by the way, comes from AMG. Let's listen to this one as well. Twin turbos definitely swallow some of the car's V8 character. Here too I think the interior sound could be a bit more muffled and bassier. On the outside it's very nice though. The Aston drive extremely well though and very precisely. I'd say out of the 4 cars it would be my personal go-to. I can only recommend giving the GT3s in RaceRoom a try in general. The tire model and slip limit aren't as detailed as in Le Mans Ultimate to my mind, but it's still enormous fun to drive at the limit, and in that respect RaceRoom is a bit more accessible. You understand more quickly what you need to do to make the cars go fast. The Temerario is the new bull in Lamborghini's stable. The predecessor's V10 is sadly history. Instead, the Italians developed a completely new 4-liter twin-turbo V8 with a flat-plane crankshaft. Even though the numbers read similarly to the Aston Martin's unit, it sounds completely different. This is very subjective again, of course, but with the Lambo too, I feel like the sound is missing some depth. You can hear the turbos nicely, and I like the clicking on the shifts, but I find the overall soundscape a bit fatiguing. Something more muffled and with more character would be possible, I think, without losing sight of realism. The Temerario is definitely a bit more demanding to drive. You feel the fundamentally different weight distribution and balance from the mid-engine layout compared to the Mustang and the Aston Martin. And one thing has to be said about all the new cars in RaceRoom: the 3D models, the details and the interiors are, dash screens aside, spot on, really nicely done. The fourth in the group is the Porsche 911 GT3 R Evo, and this one feels the least like a new car, since the base car has been in RaceRoom across many model years already. With Tim Heinemann, KW Studios of course have the perfect man in-house. He races the car for Falken in the NLS and would certainly have provided good input to make this as realistic as possible. But first, the sound check here as well. Out of all the cars, I think the sound is by far the best here. A really lovely, free-breathing, flat 6, inside and out. If I'd give the other 3 cars a 7 out of 10 for their sound, then the Porsche is a 9 out of 10. With all the weight at the rear, you have to actively make sure the front tires stay up to temperature. Otherwise, braking can quickly start to feel vague, and the car will understeer at corner exit as well. Even in the first few laps you notice that the Porsche is probably the hardest of all these cars to learn, but once you've mastered it, it's a weapon on a lot of tracks. And then let's talk about the changes to the Nordschleife. If you enjoyed the video so far, we'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe to our channel. We haven't been around for 13 years like RaceRoom, but with your support we can make it to that anniversary eventually. The first link in the video description will also take you to our premium supporter program on our website overtake.gg. €1 a month already helps us enormously, and if websites aren't your thing, you can also become a channel member right here on YouTube. There is some exclusive content coming for supporters as well. Thank you. The Nordschleife is currently in the RaceRoom sale too until August 3, like I said. For €5 or €6 or dollars, it's absolutely worth picking up. The 2026 update then arrives next week for everyone who owns the track. Surroundings, curbs, markings, surfaces and chicanes have all been brought up to date, and for the sake of completeness, Monza deserves a mention as well. There were changes there too, mainly to the track surface and the curbs. It all looks a bit more worn and more realistic. Something else that could be interesting for the Nordschleife in online racing going forward is the rework of the dedicated servers, which allow for bigger grids. So the 38-player limit is being lifted. They've developed the system behind the individual cars' update rates further. Everything within a distance of 150 meters gets refreshed at the full rate, while cars further away are smoothed out, so to speak. According to RaceRoom, 99 cars on a server are theoretically possible, and a recent test already worked with 50 cars. With RaceRoom's countless car classes, that obviously makes you dream of an incredible Nordschleife 24-hour multiplayer race. The last big area, and you've been looking at it throughout the whole video already, is the new HUD. Since 2013 there was the flash-based HUD, which was never really pretty. This is a complete redevelopment and it looks genuinely clean. KW Studios calls the system Cosmo, and this explicitly is the first iteration, which will be developed further. All the elements can be customized, by the way, by pressing M. Holding down the right mouse button also lets you adjust the size of individual elements. Yeah, I can't stress enough how necessary this HUD was. It now fits very well with the new menus, which we're not allowed to show you yet, and with RaceRoom's graphics updates. So if you compare 2024 and 2026 now, you're almost looking at a different game. So far, the HUD doesn't do anything revolutionary compared to other titles, but it's no longer years behind them either. What do you think about the RaceRoom Summer update and about RaceRoom in general right now? Should we stream a few daily races together more often or run multiplayer races together? Let us know in the comments. I thought the DTM 2026 cars felt really good, even on default setups. I like the force feedback and I like RaceRoom's easy to pick up character without having to give up realism. I'll definitely be dropping in here more often over the next few weeks. And hopefully so will you for our next video. Here's the last big Le Mans Ultimate update, which we also looked at in detail. Enjoy and see you next time. Bye!